The #1 book on Amazon's parenting and adult-child relationships category was actually written by a Filipina-Canadian-American. And to tell us more about her Amazon best-selling book and her life, we have with us Marie-Claire Lim Moore, the author of Don't Forget the Soap, and other reminders from my fabulous Filipina mother. And her fabulous Filipina mother is here, Lenore Lim. Gandang umaga. Good morning sa inyo, Claire and Lenore.
Good morning.
Yes, and I have not forgotten the soap. I brought the soap. Okay. Well, you know, the book is about your upbringing, and it's
Correct.
kind of a tribute to your parents, especially to your mother. But let's go to the title of the book, because it's kind of at the essence of the book. Don't forget the soap. It's advice that you have given your daughter, which she remembers, and kind of made immortal on the cover of this book. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng advice nyo sa inyong anak na don't forget the soap? Ito galing kasi sa hotel. Yung bang ibig sabihin, kukunin yung mga libre doon sa mga hotel room, no, bago umalis?
Okay. That's just one example of what I have reminded her as she was traveling, when she was starting to work, when she would be booking at the hotels, and there would be the gift soaps and shampoo, small. Because
yung mga maliliit katulad nito.
Pagka libre naman yan, because she brings her own shampoo, so pwede niyang itago para sa mga kasama sa bahay, para malalaman nila na naalala ni Claire sila nung siya nasa Brazil o nasa ibang lugar.
Oh, that's such a Filipino thing to do. Kasi
pasalubong.
Ako, ginagawa ko talaga yon, and I think many other Filipinos do. No? Pero ikaw, lumaki ka sa Amerika, you don't do that in America normally. I mean, you had to hear that from your mother.
It's actually one of these things that somehow everyone in the Philippines understands what I mean by don't forget the soap.
Yes.
So in New York, when we released in September, no one understood. Everyone said, okay, I have to read the book to find out what this is about. They thought, is it about toiletries? Is it about courier boxes? Here, I just love how everyone automatically related.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of kind of the cross-cultural lessons that your mother gave you, because you were born in Vancouver, Canada, and then you migrated to the United States in New York, where you studied at the New York International School, where you were a teacher for many years.
United Nations International School.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, this is about how to raise children and how to grow up in a bicultural home.
Correct. And I think, you know, for me, I wrote it at a time when now I have my own kids, right? They're 3 and 1, so still very young. But I think about how my parents had this balance of somehow still embracing new cultures and opportunities while abroad, but being able to maintain the traditional Filipino values at home.
Okay.
So it's something I want to be able to do.
Well, speaking of balance, I mean, you know, there's this debate in some parts of the United States, in the media, about, you know, how best to raise children, because there was this famous book, famous by now, The Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother by Amy Chua, who's an Asian-American mom in the United States, and she raised some high-achieving daughters, very, you know, world-class pianists, etc. And then that's, you know, the other side of the debate is, you know, the so-called permissive Western style of parenting, where the parents are always sensitive about the child's needs and wants, and very tolerant at the same time. But you try to aim for, I mean, where do you stand on that?
Okay. I took the center stage, this balance.
The middle ground.
Middle, yeah. As I was growing up, actually, I would see other parents. My parents were both working. My mother was a lawyer, and my father too. So they were both at the office. And I would see other parents who were also not working, but housewives. So I would see what is good in those, that they can bake, or they can do this at the same time. They can be a little part-time career or have a business. So I would take different things and note them down. So when I had the children, it also helped that I took up some courses or a certificate in early childhood education, so that there are 4 developmental parts in a child's growing up years. It's not only fine motor, the gross motor coordination. There is the cognitive development, which is the academic part, but there is also this emotional and social development side.
So how much did you push her to, I mean, you went to Yale University, you're now working with, I mean, obviously you grew up okay, but you don't think she was that strict?
Yeah, so I think that's where there is a balance, because there are a few things that I read Amy Chua's book where I thought I could relate, like the way my parents instilled a discipline, a respect. You know, we didn't sleep over. Some of these things that we
no
would
sleepovers.
Find, yeah, common.
Okay,
in the
well, why
Asian
not? I mean, that's very common in the United States. You sleep, you know,
Yes.
slumber parties or pajama parties.
First of all, it's a big school at the United Nations International School, and sometimes I don't know the parents, and if I don't know them, and once I start allowing, it will be hard to say no to the others. So just to make it even, so it's better to be more tight and then release a little bit as you decide later on. So,
There was a part in the book, because your children, you have one son and you have a daughter, they both studied musical instruments.
that's important
like
too.
Like Amy Chua's
Right.
daughters. But you're different because
Yes.
you weren't that competitive. You didn't want them to be, you didn't push them very much to practice.
In fact, I told the teacher, and when she wanted me to get them ready for an exam so that they will know the ranking, I told her that I'm not after the ranking. What I want is for the children to enjoy playing, and so that they can also have a special skill to be used for school. So both of them took the violin. And when you take violin lessons, you also have to practice every day for a certain number of hours or period. So that relates also doing the homework.
So you were not demanding that they become world-class violinists.
No,
it was just
no.
okay to learn an instrument.
Overall, well-rounded child. So even with the
Well-rounded.
studying, I think my brother and I always found it funny that if it got too late, she would actually turn off the lights and say, I mean, 6, 7
Yeah, I
hours
read
of
that part.
studying. Yeah, you've done
So
it.
that's unusual because
Yeah.
most parents would encourage children to
keep
study,
going.
Because
you know,
a child
until late at
also
night.
needs so
Rest
many
and
hours.
sleep.
Yes, that's also for their health. Because when they get sick, then they can't take the exam. And you know, they will be sick and
And
absent.
she would even say, so just to stay up, you know, all night, then what? Get this score we don't even know, and then be grumpy and not be respectful. I'd rather have well-rounded, balanced, respectful children who contribute to society than just straight A, one-dimensional
Well,
kid.
the book is full of advice that you got also from your mom. One is, which is kind of a common situation now, is you say that that people or households should still have landline telephones.
Yes.
And as we know, I mean, even children now have their own mobile phones, cell phones. Why should a household, a home, still have a landline? Why is that practical?
It's also one way of keeping the family together and also for you to know who the friends of your children are. I also have to mention that it's important that your children also have this type of friends. You also have to choose who they're with, because that helps that they don't think they're the only ones, that their parents are not allowing them to do this or that. So in fact, I don't think you really missed not
I mean, I
sleeping
think it was
over.
also having a community, right? A Filipino, Canadian, American community. So while in school I might be the only one not allowed to do certain things, or that might seem strange, but I had, you know, family and friends and everyone who could kind of relate and connect.
You never resented the fact that, you know, for example, you were not allowed to go to sleepovers.
Oh, yeah. No,
that
it
was okay.
Just, yeah,
But
just
what
the
we
way.
did was we said you can stay as late as you want, and when everybody's ready to go to bed, just call us. We are available all the time, and we don't give a curfew. She said no curfew. No, because we know that you are responsible and you know when it's time. So with that, I think she was satisfied.
But you were also quite insistent on keeping certain traditional values.
Yes,
I mean, and very important in your family was the sharing. Diba? I mean,
Sharing, yes,
you were
yes.
always, while you were focused on family, but you were also involved in various causes. You were even involved in political causes and
Also, yes.
charitable. So, and then you think it's important for the children to be exposed to that early on.
Yes, it's also by example. And by the way, these things that we taught her, it's not just me, my husband as well. And these things are also not just from me. I also learned it from my parents or from my school teachers and from other friends who, if I like what they're doing, I ask them, what do you do? Why are your children successful? And I take what they
Works
tell
also
me.
for you, I think.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this piece of advice is relevant for this season because one of the things that she taught you was you should only give one Christmas gift per child. Because I mean, these days,
gets a little crazy.
if you can afford it, a lot of parents give multiple gifts to children. But you're saying, oh no, only one
I know,
gift per child.
it is funny because my husband and I both, and we grew up in very different parts
And your
of the
husband's
world.
American?
My husband is
Okay.
American, from a small rural town, but we really connected on how we wanted to raise our children. And I remember one of our first Christmases together, and we just kind of see the kids really go crazy over, even before finishing unwrapping one gift, they're on to the next and the next and the next. So they lose kind of that appreciation, right, for that thing. So it's just
And
one
she
of
also
those
she
two.
also
Yeah.
said recycle the gift wrapping. So
That too.
untie it very carefully.
Enjoy the enjoyment of unwrapping, the longing to wait for the toy for your birthday, or not just have it on demand.
So you married a Caucasian American man. So did he adapt it very quickly to your culture? I mean, he's not of the permissive Western parenting model.
No. So I think we were very different but connected on, just the fundamentals, right, of how we envisioned having a life partner, what we saw about in-laws and family and so forth. So connected quite well. We actually got married in the Philippines and spent time, here. So he's definitely
Did she mobilize all of
assimilated.
her networks, family networks, for your wedding?
Exactly.
I read the book. Yeah. So you're not just a parent and a daughter. You're also in finance.
Correct.
You still work for Citibank?
I do. So yeah.
So how do you balance? So you're talking about balance, and
Right.
there are a lot of career women out there who are trying to do the same thing, and so. What can you advise them?
Yeah, no, I think as you balance multiple roles now, wife, mother, daughter, sister, but yes, an executive, say at the bank, and then now writer. But you have to know, you have to be okay, right, with balancing across the board. And at any given time, some things might be more of a focus. Your children might be more of a focus at different stages of life. Certain days when your children are sick, my work, I might be working from home, not paying as much attention. If I have a huge meeting deadlines, I might be at the office a little later. So there's a way to kind of keep it in harmony if you allow yourself to, just understand how all those parts
And
work together.
I'm sure it's not as easy as you're making it sound, because finance is, I know that it's a very stressful, hectic, very time-consuming kind of job. But you're probably getting the job done. So you're launching the book. That's why you're in the Philippines. You're
Correct.
based in Singapore. You're still based in the United States?
Yes, well, after retirement, we have been
Moving back and forth?
moving from New York to Vancouver, Manila, and now the additional place is visiting.
retired in 4 places.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're the doting Lola. Okay.
Yes.
So you'll both be at the book launch
Nice.
to sign the book.
Yes, yes.
So where is it and
So
when is
it's
it?
at Fully Booked in Bonifacio Global City tonight
High Street.
at 7. Yeah.
In Taguig.
Yes.
And
yes.
you'll both be there.
We
Yes.
will, and it's open to the public.
And you're
so-
invited.
All right. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Thank you very much,
you.
Marie Claire Lim Moore, the author of the Amazon's best-selling book on parenting. Don't Forget the Soap, and her mother, Lenore Lim. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Thank you.